Saturday, October 15th. You're listening to the Line Sports Talk podcast, and we're ready to do our Pick'em edition. Pepper Jack, along my side today, we are minus Joey Peeps as he is on his way to the Jake Progressive. Watch the Indians tonight. Hopefully he can remain sober enough to see at least the first two innings, but I have my doubts. So you're out there, you're listening, you want to know what we got to say on our picks, and hopefully we can offer a little bit better advice than the mediocre BS we handed you last week. So, Jack, say hello. Let's get it underway.
Hello.
Hello, Jack. All right.
So what you're telling me is there's a bar stool somewhere in northeastern Ohio right now that Joe's either sitting on or falling off of.
Possibly lying under at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I know he was Captain Kegs and Eggs himself. He was looking to get an early start today. He was running up to Cleveland as quickly as possible to lose his car keys, drop his vehicle, and make his way to the what's the place called? Is it the Green Parrot?
I've heard of it, yes.
Yeah, I think it's the Green Parrot. It's right there across from the Jake, maybe like a block down the road, in between Panini's and the Jake. The last time I was up there, it was jam-packed, people outside pouring over the deck. It looked like a fat girl's jeans, but it was cool, man. I may be a little bit too old to get in there, but I'm sure he's enjoying himself.
All right.
Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Let's get on it, man, right away. First game, 1 o'clock of the week. Cincinnati traveling to a red-hot New England, facing the Tom Brady-led New England Patriots. They're laying 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. But Cincinnati's been a disappointment.
Yeah, that's one of those games that that you could look at from both ends. But I don't know. I got a glimpse of Tom Brady last Sunday, and I know he's on a mission.
Yeah, he is.
Bengals just looked not very good. I know Jeremy Hill re-injured his chest and came out early in the third quarter, but I don't think that he has been very good so far this year. I don't think since he's going to miss him. If you're asking me what I think Tom Brady throws for another 3.5 touchdowns, somewhere in that area, and New England beats Cincinnati by 10 points.
I'm not against that in the slightest. I love that I had waited these first 4 weeks of my fantasy standard league teams to get Tom Brady in a lineup, and he looked real crisp coming out. I don't see any reason why that stops here. Cincinnati didn't show much. They went down to Dallas last week and got peppered. They got run over. I don't see New England coming out with a LeGarrette Blunt-laden game plan. I just don't. I think Belichick is likely to let Tom Brady cut it loose and see what he can do against that Cincinnati secondary. But I'm going to take New England, and I'm going to lay the points as well.
All right.
Baltimore, another 1 o'clocker. Baltimore travels to New Jersey to take on the New York Football Giants. Giants are laying 3.5. This game just screams to me sucks, and I won't watch any of it.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those real close just barn burner games. Not a whole lot of offensive potential.
It looks like garbage. Yeah, I'm not interested. There's no fantasy implications if you don't have Odell Beckham, and even if you do, you probably still don't care.
Yeah, and I think Baltimore is still trying to figure out whether or not this Kenneth Dixon's going to be a part of their backfield this year.
Yeah.
I think he might have had one carry last week. Terrence West, though, apparently has been coming on. I think the Giants might do pretty well on the rush defense. So the most interesting part of this game to me looks like the over-under, which I have at 45.
I'm there with you at 45 as well.
Yeah, now I'm thinking that after last week, I don't believe either teams were able to muster too much on offense. I think Baltimore only scored 10 points, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
And the Giants, 16 against Green Bay on Sunday night. So
they did.
Everything points to the under on this game. 45 under. But here again, it is the middle of October, and we still don't know what to expect from a lot of these teams. But I would probably stay away from the head-to-head and just bet the total under 45.
Under at 45. Pick me a side.
Well, if I had to do anything, I'd go with the home team, 3.5, but that 3.5 might come into play. I think it's a 3-point game. I'll take my chances, though, being home favorites. I will go with the Giants minus the 3.5.
Makes a lot of sense. I do like the unders in this as well. Just everything smacks of two teams that are going to drag the ball up and down the field and not do much with it. Eli's been just sloppy. The offensive line has been awful. I don't know that Ben McAdoo is ready to be a head coach in the NFL. I watched a little bit of that Sunday night game. I watched most of it, but just sloppy situations not setting up blocking situations, 3rd and long, just not protecting, not chipping off the end, not making any kind of adjustments. I think Eli's really frustrated there. I think Odell Beckham is clearly frustrated. I'm going to actually take Baltimore in the plus the 3.5. I think Baltimore got off to that 3-0 start. They lost a really tight game to Oakland. I don't think the Baltimore team's as bad as it looks. I'll take the Ravens in the 3.5.
All right.
We're moving forward, Doc. Last year's NFC champions who have been nothing but a bunch of dolts, man, a bag of shit. Carolina's traveling to New Orleans, the Superdome, to take on the home underdog Saints. Saints are getting 2.5 at home. Over-under on this game is way up there. It's the highest in the NFL this week. It's at 53.5, what I'm looking at. I don't know how I feel about this game.
Well, Cam Newton is coming back.
He is.
I know Pepper Jack was way offline on Monday night thinking that the Carolina defense would actually show up and pummel Jameis Winston. My apologies to anyone that might have taken that bait from me.
Can you say, though, that was one of the shittiest football games you've ever seen?
It was not a good one.
Penalties.
Not a good game. Not a good game. I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Carolina. I thought that Rivera would be able to gather the team and get them fired up on a Monday night at home on national TV, but I was mistaken.
You were. I don't think, Joey Peep seems to think that this is a bounce-back game for Carolina, and so does Harbor Mike in our earlier discussions this week. I guess everything would point to it as they're 0-2 in the division already. This is their 3rd division game of the year. They should go into New Orleans and beat the Saints. The Saints are a team who haven't stopped anybody defensively. But look for them to do that this week. I'm going to take New Orleans plus the 2.5 at home.
I'm going to still stick with my guns and say Carolina does have a bounce-back game eventually, and New Orleans does show some firepower on offense. Out here on my oddshark.com website, I see that 73% of America is taking Carolina minus the 2.5. Last week, America was wrong quite often. I'm hoping they're not wrong. I would go with Carolina. Roughly, I don't think they're going to go over 53. I think you're going to see about a 27-20 ball.
Yeah, that 53.5 number is pretty high considering Carolina's defense at any moment you would think could wake up and hold this team to 13 points, 17 points, somewhere in there, but maybe not. I think New Orleans wins the game, though. I really do. This 23-20 and saying somewhere near the unders. I'm going to mark you down for Carolina and the unders as well, and we'll slide on to the big game of the week that I don't know anybody outside of Pennsylvania is going to have a whole lot of interest in. Pittsburgh travels to Miami. This is another one of the home dogs. The Dolphins are getting 7 in their own backyard. I think Miami might just be the 3rd worst team in the NFL this year. They're battling for the 2nd worst team in the NFL. That team stinks. Ryan Tannehill stinks. I've been pretty hard on him the last couple of weeks, and I think he deserves it. He's just not improving. They're a 7-point dog at home, over under 48.5, according to my line sheet. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to lay lumber and beat the piss out of the Miami Dolphins. I'll take Pittsburgh and lay the 7.
Yeah, I'm also on Pittsburgh. I see them not letting up on the Miami Dolphins. I don't understand what it seems like Tannehill has ruined Jarvis Landry's DraftKings/fantasy football relevance.
Yeah.
I think, Jarvis was being targeted maybe 10 to 12 times a game. I think he might have caught 2 passes last week for 29 yards, something to that respect.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, not so great against the pass. I think you're going to see a lot of Le'Veon Bell, though, this week. And I do think Pittsburgh rolls, I would say, roughly 31-14 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that over-under, I think we marked it at 48.5, and I think this is a 38-10 Pittsburgh game, the 42-10. I think they run them over. One of the fantasy cautions I wanted to throw out there, I have Le'Veon Bell in 2 leagues, and I think that this could be a nice week for him. But I'm afraid that if Pittsburgh gets out to a big lead, Le'Veon Bell may just trot over to the sidelines, and you might see a lot more D'Angelo Williams in the second half. Just to eat up clock and keep LB healthy. And that does scare me. It's just the caveat for Le'Veon Bell. I'm not starting him as many leagues as I normally would this week, daily fantasy-wise, just because I'm afraid that D'Angelo Williams might take over some of that game in the second half. But I've been wrong about most things, so I'm probably wrong about this too.
Yeah, I think it's in Miami. I don't think that Pittsburgh's going to pull away. I think they're going to put him to bed, obviously, but I think that'll come late third, early fourth quarter. I still think you'll see a lot of Bell.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. I wanted just to pick up for you there, too, on Jarvis Landry. He was targeted 3 times last week, 3 catches, 28 yards. So 3 times. First-round draft pick, probably the best receiver on the field for the Miami Dolphins without question, and you targeted him 3 times. Yeah,
and I don't understand when you have a weapon like that how you don't make plays for that man.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And on the other side, who's on the other side of him? I can never. Devontae Parker
or Kenny Stills.
Kenny Stills continuously runs the wrong route, drops passes. He's got one big play on the season where he took the top off the coverage against Cincinnati, I think, on that Monday night, or Thursday night, rather. Yeah, I don't get it. How do you throw at a guy 3 times? Unless there's a lot of times that I think guys like us who aren't in the locker rooms or on the sidelines don't hear about the injuries that go on, or guys with bad hips or bad knees or a bad back or something going on. How do you not throw to that guy more often? So that's just maybe growing pains from Adam Gase as a new head coach as well. I don't know. Moving on. This game's another bogus, just not exciting. Jacksonville travels to Chicago. Jacksonville at the Bears. The Bears are at home, laying 1.5. Give me a shout. What do you think?
Well, I like Jacksonville. I think they had a week off.
It's nice to get that 1.5.
Plus, I still think that they have some solid weapons on offense. I think with Allen Robinson really hasn't had his Allen Robinson-type game. I know he caught 2 touchdown passes in London.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they were within 14 yards of the end zone. So I'm expecting him or Alan Hearns. I think Alan Hearns had the long touchdown in London. But I think that with the 2 Allens, I think Julius Thomas is healthy coming back this week. Chris Ivory is starting to get
he's healthy as well.
Offense. And Yeldon, second year, he's making some strides.
Sure.
I think it all depends on whether or not Blake Bortles makes any bad decisions. I think Chicago's defensive backfield is suspect, and I would see Jacksonville winning this game outright, probably 23-20.
Okay. Pepper Jack taking the Jack. I don't like that I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to lay the points with the Chicago Bears in the